to Unleash Your Inner Goldilocks, how to get it just right. Thank you so much for joining us for another hour of interesting and exciting conversations, and we cannot wait to spend another hour with you. As we get started, let us take a moment and think about why we are part of the Goldilocks community and what are we trying to build as part of the Goldilocks community. Goldilocks reminds us of the importance of balance. Balance is about showing up in a way that we're not too hot, not too cold, not too hard, not too soft, just like the way she liked her porridge and she liked her bed or her chair. Why is that important for us? So often as adults, we think that if we don't get our way, if we don't do it exactly the way we believe it should be done, then it's not a win. I lose. I can't give in to anybody. I have to be in charge. And we let ego and everything else get in our way. But we forget that our own success is predicated on us being able to influence others, us being able to influence others to accomplish our goals. And research shows that we can each only influence 3 levels from where we are. 3 levels. What that means is I can only influence 3 levels from where I am, regardless of where I stand. So if I'm already at the extreme right end of an issue, I can only influence 3 levels towards the center. If I'm already at the extreme left end of an issue, I still can only influence 3 levels towards the center. If I'm already in that centered position because I have taken perspective and looked at how what I want to do affects other lives, and how do I find that middle ground so that by me accomplishing what I want, I'm not making other people lose everything they have. Then I'm giving people incentive. I am bringing them into that process, and I am creating shared prosperity. And therefore, we all thrive and my goals are accomplished. The power of influence is what the leader has. Leadership is not a title. It is not a power of position. It is completely a power of influence. And if we want to be a leader in our field and drive change and drive our own success, then it's so important for us to get grounded on the importance of balance, find that centeredness. And it's truly freeing and empowering because as we work with others, we figure out how do we build together? How do we share together? A lot of times people tell me, you know what, Dr. Cass, I came into this world alone. I'm going to leave alone. So I don't need anybody. I can accomplish my goals alone. And sometimes I chuckle and remind them, did you really come alone? Your mom actually carried you to term for 9.5 months. When she pushed to get you out into this world, there were doctors and nurses and so many other people, sometimes even an ambulance. I don't know if you were born in an ambulance or not. So there were so many people who made your life and your entry into this world possible. And when you leave, it doesn't matter if you're going to be cremated or buried. At least 4 people have to carry you somewhere. 4 wheels have to take you somewhere. So technically, none of us come in alone. None of us leave alone. Therefore, none of us should expect to have life lived all by ourselves. That's not how it works. We need one another. We need each other. How do we make sure we build this together and we succeed? And we can do it without compromising what we want to accomplish. All we have to do is find a different perspective. Just like there is white and black and everything else in between, Goldilocks is reminding us to take a prism and diffract that light and see the rainbow. And when you see the rainbow, you can actually engage in a way that it's beautiful, colorful, and gets people engaged. Why is that important? We each have one life to live. And if we don't live this life with our own purpose, then the world is going to miss out on us. We can each only do us. I can't do you, you can't do me. We each have to do us and live each of our lives. But for me to live my life and for me to live my purpose, I need to get centered on me, my inner being. and I have to see what my purpose is. My purpose lies in the intersection of what I love, what I'm great at, and what the world needs. When all these three things come together, I find my purpose, and from that purpose emanates my mission in life and my legacy that I leave behind. Because what I do in this world is going to help me live my purpose and leave something better behind. 3 nuggets of wisdom I want us to take into today's conversation before I introduce you to our wonderful guest. 1 is unexplored world is filled with opportunities. Don't be afraid to think outside the box and do something different. Don't do what everybody does. Ride bravely into the unknown. Create a path for others to follow. And you're going to meet our guest today, and he's doing exactly that. He has identified an opportunity that his community and his country needs, and he is embarking on a ride into the unknown boldly because he wants to create the path for others to thrive and others to follow. And you are going to love hearing his story and his purpose and what he plans to do and how he plans to do it. Second nugget I want us to take into the conversation is the fact that financial security is basic human need. If we are not financially secure, then everything else around us starts falling apart. And it's a basic human need to want security. We want physical safety and security. We want food safety and security. And we want financial safety and security. It's not necessarily want, it's actually need. The basic need psychologically is to make sure we're safe, we have food, and we have money to do the basics in life. And without that, we can't begin to live our purpose. So safety and security are basic human needs. Providing them with mindful leadership builds resilient communities. And today we're going to talk about how do we build resilient communities and how do we bring some of those financial safety and security into the small business and entrepreneurial world. Third piece of wisdom I want us to take into the conversation is the need to intentionally build each of our financial freedom. There's really no freedom without financial freedom. So many times, whether in the United States or in Belize, 2 places I tend to live today, I hear everybody say, I am so free, I live in a free country. But everybody is in debt, or everybody is broke, or people are declaring bankruptcy, or they don't know how to finish building their house or how to finish building their business. Freedom is not about talking. Freedom is about living free. And if we are in chains financially, then we're enslaved to financial institutions. So having credit card debts, having more. How do we build our financial freedom to truly be free? And where can we get the help is going to be part of the conversation today. So please help me welcome Mr. Cruz Gomez from Belize, who is here to discuss small business loans, microcredit, and economic development. Welcome to the program, Mr. Gomez.
Hi, Dr. Kass, and all the participants in this very important show. You know, we have been accustomed to participate in this show every Saturday, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to participate. Good morning to everyone. You know, firstly, I want to thank God, Allah, the universe, whatever we consider Him to be, to give us an opportunity to be here on a very Saturday morning in Belize. You know, very excited that you know, we get our activities going with a positive mind. You know, and listening to you earlier, you said about leadership. Just yesterday, I had a conversation with a colleague of mine who was talking about leadership. You know, that eventually one of our friends, good friends that got a position, eventually called him after several years being without communication with him, and he was glad. You know, we were speaking that sometimes people, when they get a leadership position, they forget the humility,
Yes.
and they beat their chest. And leadership is not about that. Leadership is a being humble, assisting. That is what leadership is. The position doesn't matter. It is what you give back that is
Yes.
important.
Absolutely. The power of influence is priceless. And let me take a moment and introduce you with some of the background, Mr. Gomez. Mr. Gomez has, for over 20 years, been a noteworthy leader in his community. People in Belize may know him for his work as head of customer relations at Belize Bank. But Mr. Gomez can also be credited to contributions to sports and other charitable organizations that seek the betterment of individuals. His passion in serving others has led him to venture into a finance startup that aims to provide affordable credit to entrepreneurs, the poor, and the low-income families, especially women in rural area. And Gamma Financial Services, Growing Together, is the business he's launched. And they're already doing amazing work in the community. And why don't you tell us a little bit about why now and what is motivating you to invest in this and completely take a leap of faith into building something to leave behind for others?
Yeah. Over the several months, I had been contemplating to leave, my employer, leave security and go to the unknown, as you had previously mentioned, because it is a bold move, moving from, being in a secure environment to leaving to the unknown. However, I see the necessity out there that the barricades that people, that low income women, small entrepreneurs, micro entrepreneurs have in accessing funds to assist themselves, to assist their business, to assist their families. And I decided, why not? Why not contribute in this manner to our community? Why not contribute to the development of Belize by providing low-cost financing to individuals that may never have the opportunity to get financing from our traditional banks? And that has been motivating me. I see the need of families whenever they want to send their child to registration for school, for high school. I see the need of small businesses that whenever they want to restock, they are looking for financing, and very difficult for them to get because they might not have the collateral, or they might not have the know-how. So I want to provide that. Through Gamma, we want to provide that. And it came about as a family-oriented business. I had a meeting with my brothers, and I invited them for them to come on board and see how we can best help the community as a family. And it was a family initiative, and it continues to be a family initiative. So we are trying to do our best to provide that for women especially, because I realize that we have a lot of single parent, women that are single parent, and sometimes they try to do something, either selling clothes, selling shoes, selling online, but they need financing to get their product. And why not? Why not? If I am able to assist them, why not do it? So that is basically why I decided to launch this and launch myself to the unknown, because it is, like I said, plenty of people ask me, but are you sure? I'm not sure, but life is like that, make the move and time will tell, but time will tell, but I will have the gratification that I did my best to try to assist others in the way that I can.
Absolutely. And the beauty of this, Mr. Gomez, as I hear it, is the fact that you're doing it as a family. So the adults are engaged and you're transforming the family through this process, but you're also introducing the younger generation into this thought process of financial safety and security and microcredit and small business loans. So you're truly nurturing the next generation, your kids, your nieces, nephews. So as a family, you're going to make a difference, but also the community is going to benefit. So that is one thought that sticks in my mind. And the other thought that comes to my mind is, More than 4 billion people in this world are what we call at the bottom of the pyramid. The bottom of the economic pyramid is households that make less than 1,000 US dollars a year. I'm going to repeat that for emphasis. Families that make less than $1,500 a year is at the bottom two tiers of the economic pyramid. Developed countries like the United States and others at the top of the pyramid, those families make over 20,000 US dollars a year. So what the United States considers poor at 20,000 is super rich for most of the world, because 4 billion people of the world are at the bottom, and that's pretty much all of Asia, pretty much all of Africa, and pretty much all of Central and South America. That's where the market is. And in business, everybody is trying to focus and serve the top of the pyramid that is shrinking. And everybody believes the poor is not worth serving. But truly, the fortune is at the bottom of the pyramid. And anybody who's willing to bring quality, reliable, trusted services and products to the bottom of the pyramid and lift them up are the ones who are going to make a fortune, but they're going to make a fortune by lifting everybody up. So the shared prosperity concept is at play here. And to me, that is the most lasting and beautiful thing you're doing, Mr. Gomez. So I wanted that context so that people in Belize who are listening to this, people in Sri Lanka who are listening to this, they understand they're not alone. There are 4 billion plus people in the world in that space. So
Yes.
how does it make you feel, Mr. Gomez, that you truly are doing something to lift up the economic viability of one family at a time and eventually build economic development for Belize?
Statistics in Belize show that the minimum wage for Belizeans is $3.30 Belize. That's $1.65 US. Weekly, an average person will live with 75 US dollars weekly. Belize statistics show that 106,000 households live under the poverty line, right? That is of a population of about 400,000 thereabout. Right? The last census is not done, so we might have increased a little bit, but a population of that. If I am able to capture at least a small percentage of this, I will feel humbled, contented that I have contributed to their development, that I have contributed for their well-being. You know, households are, as I mentioned earlier, you know, the financial institutions do not serve these people. The traditional financial institutions do not serve these people. And they are the persons that mostly need, you know, but because of their lack of collateral, because of their lack of knowledge and on how to prepare a business, or at least have in-house financials or stable jobs, or the bank might say, but you are only gaining 75 or 150 Belize for the week. How will you be able to pay me, right? How will you be able to pay the loan? And this is where we will assist them. If the person can pay me, or the person can pay the business $10 weekly, $15 weekly, but it will help that person become better. It will help that person to support his family. It will help that person to contribute to the development of their children. Then that is a satisfaction that no one can take. You know, that is the satisfaction that will help me grow, and I will know that I am contributing to the development of this country. I will be glad that I am contributing to the reduction of crime in this country. I'll be happy that I am contributing to the reduction of poverty in this country, because $1,000 for a low-income family is a lot of money. $1,000 Belize dollars is a lot of money that they can assist in paying school. And if they are able to pay $15, they are helping the business, and as well they are helping themselves. So it will be a holistic satisfaction, not only for me, but for the families as well.
Absolutely. And it just makes my heart so when I hear you say that, because it doesn't mean just because they're poor, their children don't need education. And sometimes the ones with the skills and capabilities and the potential are the ones from low-income families. It is important for the country and the world for children with potential to get their opportunities so that their gift is not missed out in the world. And for you to be able to do this, Mr. Gomez, that is so heartwarming. And I would be remiss if I don't mention that for this to work, everybody who participates in the small business loan program, microcredit facilities, need to be able to stay true to their commitment and build a trusted ecosystem so that whatever is borrowed is paid. Because if anybody breaks that trust, then that whole notion of being able to help with the little bit we have falls apart, because you're putting your money to help others. And if they don't pay you back, then you're going to be needing microcredit down the road, right? So we need to remind people microcredit and small loans work only when there is 100% payoff rate.
What I have realized, and I don't know if this is true in other countries, but what I have realized that a lot of low-income families or parents or women stay true to their word. You know, many times those are the people that make every effort, make every commitment to pay whatever they owe. You know, and sometimes we don't see that with the higher class. You know, sometimes they might say, you know, but I have noticed that majority of low-income families stay true to their word, and I believe that that will be the case and continue to be the case here, because they will seek assistance not only once, but they will seek for it again and again. And once they grow that trust, then the assistance will be flowing, you know, for their betterment.
Absolutely. And global statistics show that loans given to low-income women have 97 to 99% rate of return, because those women always fulfill what they committed to, because they do know they need it again. So it becomes a revolving credit as different stages of their life they need for different things. So you're right.
And it is the same thing that I realized with the vendors, what we call the street vendors, you know, the persons that are selling their vegetables, the persons that are selling their tacos, you know, their fast food. It is the same thing, and it is difficult for them to get financing from the traditional banks here in Belize, because most of these small entrepreneurs not even have an in-house financials, you know, so they just go day by day. And one of the purposes that we also have is to try to have meetings with these people to show them that, hey, listen, taking at least a listing of your expenses, a listing of your income, this will assist you that eventually we will not be able to assist you because you might want a bigger assistance. Then you can go to the banks, and because you have all your financials in order, then you will be able to get that assistance for you to grow. So we were not only speaking about growing them financially, but also in the administrative part of their business, so that they can see the importance of keeping finances in order.
I absolutely love that. So basically, you are empowering them to start building their financial wellness and financial record keeping, so that as they grow, they can graduate from your program and go into mainstream banking, because now they have the infrastructure, the documentation, and the know-how to deal with the bank.
Correct. And that is the idea, you know, start them up, you know, because plenty of them also not even have their business registered, you know, so we go through the process and we assist them, and for them to graduate, you know, to the higher level, that is the intention, and that is what we want to do. And hopefully we can launch it in a proper way, and we will see the benefits, maybe not today, but, you know, 5 years from now, if one graduated, I will be super happy, because that has made one business better. And that one business may be able to employ 5 persons that is making the life of another family or other families better. In other parts of the world, we have what they call angel funding, crowdfunding. In Belize, we don't have that. So we have to seek assistance from banks or other lending institutions. And me coming on board with Gamma Financial, then I will be able to be added to a group of people that are assisting. So that is where we want to go.
I am so excited to see how you are going to be reshaping the community. And so tell us, how can we in the community help this initiative, help this effort, and how can we be part of the support system to bring about this change? Because it's not just about any one person, it's about the community thriving.
Yes, having you in Belize, having you other friends, what I call friends here in your show, any advice that you can provide to me or to the board that will be managing the business will be appreciated. If we might be lacking some sort of knowledge, because like I said, it's a bold move that I have taken. I may not know everything, right? But I have some experience. You have your experience. Other friends in this community have their experience. And when we share knowledge, then all of us grow. If you notice, or if you would realize that, hey, Mr. Games, I think this is the best way to do it, why not listen? Your experience, I might be seeing it one way, but with your experience, I may consider how to better the business. If other people in this community, in the ennoble community, may notice that, hey, Mr. Games, how are you doing? A word of encouragement, you can maybe do it this way, or I know things are difficult with startups, but stay strong. I think the advice of everybody, your participation, and eventually, if the business is growing, why not consider in some partnership, financial partnership with you guys, and making some sort of income as well, in partnership, because the financing, from what I have statistics from what my pre study is showing that there is a demand, and probably I may not have all the financings for everybody. And maybe I might reach out to other people, hey, you want to be part of the business? And there is where we can all gain, gain knowledge, gain economic prosperity. And I think that will be very important.
You bring up a good point, because the power and the strength and the longevity of this initiative requires others to invest. And I know there are international microcredit organizations that allow people to, you can deposit like 25, 30 US dollars a month. And that actually allows women to buy their raw material and do their craft, take it to market, sell, and repay. And I know individuals who invest in micro lending units, and they are so fulfilled that they're transforming the lives of a woman, and through that, a family, because most of the world is single mother families, which is part of the reason why there is poverty, right? Fathers don't always stay with the family, and mothers have to raise the kids, take care of everything, and make the family economically viable. So that is a very, very good point. And whenever you are ready, at a point where you are ready to raise funds, we'll have you back on the program, and let's make sure that we have your voice and your requests heard.
Thanks, Doc. That is very important. As I mentioned earlier, the statistics is showing me that there will be a demand. There will be a demand, and I will want to serve everyone that I believe, or we believe, that will be, capable to at least make a minimum payment. And if the demand is as what I see, I will need financial assistance to grow, and we will try to do our best to be transparent, because that is very important. Do our best to be accountable to to our partners, we will want to call them shareholders, and that is very important in any business, and even in your personal life. it is very important to be honest, to be transparent, to be accountable to your wife, accountable to your children, transparent to your wife, transparent to your children. And it is the same thing in business. We all need to be that. And that is where the confidence will go. That is where the trust will go. Not only within our business community, but as well with the individuals that we will be assisting, because they need to have trust on us. They need to have trust on us that whenever they call upon us, we will be able to assist them. It is not like they call upon us and then we will tell them, yes, we will help them, but the help never comes. Then what? There will be no trust. They will spread that news. When you want to borrow with Gamma Financial Services, they tell you, yes, they will lend you, and they never lend you. And that is not what we want. We want to go trust with all the persons that will be involved with this. I want to go trust within the community with this initiative. And once we do that, then we will be on our way to a better economic prosperity.
Beautifully said. And with that, I'm actually going to open it up to our live audience so that for the next 8 to 10 minutes, we can answer any questions they have and we can expand this conversation with their insights and their thoughts. So Eileen, I'm going to put you on the spot here. How does it feel when you hear this conversation? You're in Belize, you're going to be getting into the world of finance, you are in university, and you're hearing your dad speak. So how does it feel?
It makes me feel super proud of him, and I'm excited for his new journey.
Well, I'm happy to hear that. And I'm so glad you're here supporting him, because it's going to take the whole family there to make sure this works, right? And families helping families is a beautiful thing. Thank you so much, Eileen.
Yeah, can I mention that I am very super excited to have Eileen on board. She has been my support. She has been very encouraging me, in taking this bold move. When I had mentioned it to her, she was excited. And the first thing she told me, Dad, it is your happiness. And if that will make you happy, go for it. So I want to publicly say here that I am a super happy dad, and I am super proud to have Eileen as my daughter.
That warms up my heart. Thank you. Thank you. So Margaret, Elisa, Dr. Bowie, any thoughts you want to add? Any questions?
No, I wanted to thank Mr. Gemez and his family, his daughter, being on the show today. It's inspirational what you're doing. Appreciate your time today. The things that you mentioned kind of brought me to mind about information sharing, and in the age of leadership, there are many types of leadership out there, and one of them is informational leadership. It's about whether it be organizations or just people across the worlds that we live in today. Enterprise knowledge management system, and many organizations do very little to share information. Information is like knowledge and power. So lots of times information is not shared within people within our own organizations, let alone information sharing across the world, right? So information leadership should be the form of leadership we move forward in the future, as we learn how to share and grow together, be kind of like growing the pie together. Lots of times people have a mindset that there is a one piece of the pie and we have to split it among each other, and in a distributive form of sharing. And if you get more, I get less. But the mindset should be expanding that circle, so that as we get and share among each other, everybody's benefiting, right? So that's growing the pie of sharing our wealth, prosperity, and everything together. The other thing that you mentioned that kind of like made me think about, you mentioned about keeping your word. Sometimes, when I look at, somebody who's came from an impoverished background like myself also, I think about the one thing you have, you don't have money, you don't have a lot of material possessions, but what you do have is your reputation, right? So that's value. So when you keep your word, when you don't have much, that's what you have. That's your monetary value, is your reputation. So very good points about the talk today, and I appreciate your time, and appreciate Dr. Cass having you on to kind of talk about this, and I'm excited to see what your next chapter is going to be like, and I'm excited for you, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you as well. I'm very appreciative of the support, and what you mentioned also is very true. In the organization that I will soon be leaving, sometimes the lack of information by the time, sometimes it's very strange that customers may know and we as employees may not know what is happening within the organization, because information is not shared the way it should be shared. And what you mentioned about reputation, reputation is what makes a man or a woman, integrity. And those are very important qualities. And, in my environment, I think I have gained that trust because of my reputation. I keep to my word. I always try to keep to my word. And that has made me a better person in our community.
Very much so. And thank you, Dr. Bowie, for your thoughts. And I am totally in line with you, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Gomez, because one of the reasons you and I got to know each other was I was really touched by your ability to follow through and keep your word as a banker. I met you as a random customer who just walked off the street. And in life, there are two kinds of people whose word is their honor. And then for people who just say anything to get what they want at that moment. For those whose word is their honor, they have integrity and they are trusted, and it goes to the heart of character. And so the one who keeps their word is the one with character, and the one who just talks to talk is the person who lacks character. And that ultimately determines where life takes each person. And it's a good reminder to each of us. And as Dr. Bowie reminded us, we may not have anything, but we will always have our integrity, our dignity, and our character. And how are we showing up and how are we keeping our word is everything. And thank you so much, Mr. Gomez, for actually demonstrating how that works and creating a lived experience in a community where, we don't need to be rich to have character. We just need to keep our word.
That is very true, Dakan. That is what makes a community better. I base myself on a community because I want to see my community, I want to see my country become better, not economic prosperity, culture, sports, and everything, but we need to start, and we need to start with a good footing, good foundation. And if we can change the mindset of our young people, I think we'll be on a good path. And who will be able to do that? Persons like us, persons like you, that have come from a foreign land and fallen in love with Belize, with the people, and showing that you want to contribute for the development of Belize. That is very, very kind of you and kind of everyone in this ennobled community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gomez. We are all excited for you. We're all rooting for you, and we're all going to be here supporting you and making sure that your mission and your purpose is thriving. And please feel free to keep the community posted, because the Goldilocks community is going to be supporting you and being there with you for the long haul. And your success is something we're going to be celebrating.
Yes, that is my intention, keep everyone informed, and my success will be your success. You have given me the support that I need, along with my family. And when I succeed, I will feel that all of us have been successful, because you are contributing to my development as well. You are contributing to the development of Belize as well, you know. So we will all succeed, you know. With my success, we will all succeed.
Absolutely. And as we bring this to a close, what closing thoughts or words of wisdom do you have to share with the community in Belize so that they can better engage and work towards their own financial freedom?
For them to not be afraid, not to be afraid to move to the unknown. We all have questions when we move to where we don't know, to darkness. We all have questions. You know, sometimes my 4-year-old, when the lights is off in the house, he's afraid, you know, to move. And that is what happens to us. Many times we are afraid, right? But if you have a good support system that will give you the courage, that will give you the motivation to not be afraid, and you go towards your goal, go to what, as Eileen told me, go to what will make you happy. Right? And if I had, sometimes I sit down and I lament and I say, but why didn't I do this years ago, right? Because maybe I was not prepared. So prepare yourself, you know, prepare yourself educationally, with whatever you can prepare yourself so that you can make the other move. And that is what I would want to mention, to never be afraid to make a bold move and to prepare yourself. And the time will come. The universe, God, Allah knows when it's time. I had been having this idea, but suddenly my mind just had a click and I did it. And I think that is where God, universe puts you, you know, he aligns when it's time, it is time, and there is nothing that can stop it. You know, but we need to make the initial steps. We as individuals need to make the initial steps, or not, it will not happen. You know, have faith. Have
Yes.
faith. You know, have faith. And that will move you to where you want to go.
What a beautiful thought to bring this amazing conversation to a close, Mr. Gomez. And I will reiterate what Mr. Gomez just said. The universe is unfolding as it should, so have the faith. Have the faith and show up and do what you need to do, and everything else will fall into place because things are in perfect harmony. So with that wonderful piece of affirmation, we bring this amazing and insightful conversation to an end. Please remember to go to our YouTube channel, Transform with Dr. Cass, subscribe and follow and catch this and all prior episodes and future episodes. And we cannot wait for you to get engaged in this initiative and other initiatives that are going to be brought through the Goldilocks community so that we can build a better world for everybody to thrive. Remember, every human interaction is our opportunity for transformation. So go out there and transform lives. And in that process, don't forget to transform your own.